Welcome to Community Talk. I'm Dan Shaddell, the Executive Director of the United Way of Enid and Northwest Oklahoma. And of course, my guest today is Mr. Bobby Schultz, who is the Executive Director?
Sure.
Or the Director? Well, he's the Director. He oversees the Cimarron Council of the Boy Scouts of America. So welcome, Bobby.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and
Glad
so
to be here.
you have the main office right here in Enid.
We do.
But you cover such a large area, right?
We cover 19 counties. 19
counties. You know, that's the great thing about, our partner agencies. We keep on talking about United Way of Enid and Northwest Oklahoma.
Right.
That's how we cover Northwest Oklahoma, through the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We work through Garfield County Child Advocacy, which is 5 counties. We were just talking to Loaves and Fishes this morning, number of counties. A lot of our partner agencies,
Red
of course.
Cross.
Yeah, Red Cross is another one, the Salvation Army. I mean, they cover a lot of different counties in Northwest Oklahoma. So that's really how we reach out and touch a lot of lives. But the Boy Scouts, I mean, you guys do so much. And you're talking about a little bit earlier, there are different levels, right? So you get started with the Lions Cub, which is a new one, right?
That's right.
So when did they start, Lions Cub?
They start in kindergarten now.
Okay. In
And they're
kindergarten,
Lion
and then
Cubs.
when do they move into
Then first grade is Tigers.
Oh, okay.
And then second grade
Is
Wolves.
Oh, okay.
Third grade Bears.
Bears, right?
And fourth and fifth are Webelos.
Right. And so I was telling Bobby earlier that I made it through Webelos, but then I think my little brother came along, and then Mom and Dad got too busy, so I couldn't make it into the Arrow of Arrow of Light?
Arrow of Light.
Arrow of Light, which is the next level, and then you're into the Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts. That's
Right. So you've got all those different levels, and it's great how easy it is to how easy is it to get your kid involved with scouting?
Oh, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty simple. The easiest way is you can even do it online now. Go to beascout.org.
Beascout.org. All together?
Yes.
All together now.
All together now.
All right.
That's right. And you can sign up that way. But we're actually going to schools right now. We're in the process of doing our big
Drive
right now.
Right.
So
Not to mention, you're also doing your popcorn sales drive.
Popcorn
That's a big
sales are
thing,
going
right?
now.
Yeah.
So buy some popcorn.
I'm telling
I know
what,
you
guys.
have.
Oh yeah, the caramel corn is like umor no rumor, something like that. I'm having a hard time this morning or this afternoon. But anyway, the whole point being that is like the best popcorn. I've never had a bad bag or
it's
can.
good stuff. And 70% of the sale price benefits local scouting.
So that 70% that's raised from the sales of the popcorn, does it go right back into the Cimarron Council? Is that how that works?
It actually, the unit, the Cub Pack or the Boy
Goes
Scout
back to
troop
them.
gets 35%.
Okay.
We get a portion and the remainder pays for the popcorn.
I gotcha.
So
Great.
it benefits everyone.
Right.
I had a lion cub come to my door, a kindergartner, cute kid, came to my door and asked me if I would help support his Cub Scout pack. Now, how can you say no to a kindergartner?
That's right.
Cutest kid ever. And I asked him what the best kind was, and he had his answer. He said it was white cheddar.
Oh.
But I said, why don't I buy a military donation? Then you don't have to deliver it to me. It's just shipped directly to the military. And his dad said, that's a great idea.
Oh, great. I didn't know you could do that.
You can do that.
So you make just basically a donation then?
We have a $25 donation for military, and then they ship it to our servicemen overseas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a great Christmas present, holiday gift right now to our service folks overseas.
Right.
That's great. I
We
did
know
not
they
know that was
appreciate it.
available. They really didn't share that with me. They just said buy some popcorn, and we just bought the popcorn. So
Well, if I was a parent, I'd be pushing that so I didn't have to deliver anything. But that's just me.
Well, it's kind of like the Girl Scout cookies. You get so many of them, you've eaten so many of them, now it's time to give those to others.
That's exactly
and,
right.
And maybe gift it, right? Gift it.
And that's why we like the Girl Scouts, because occasionally we'll work out a little barter. We'll trade some popcorn
Popcorn for
cookies.
cookies.
It works out real well.
Wow, that's great. I didn't know you did that. Okay, well, so talk a little bit about the Boy Scouts, where you at right now, and other than popcorn sales. So as a United Way partner agency, we're in the blackout period.
Right.
However, because the Boy Scouts they were grandfathered in, they can at least sell their popcorns for their fundraiser. Otherwise, all of our other partner agencies are out raising funds for United Way, and you help
And we're
tremendously.
helping with that.
Yeah, and you help with that as well, and so
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yes.
You know, our campaign's going on right now. Get involved, get your workers involved, your employees, your business. just give us a call at 237-0821 and be a part of that. But hey, let's talk about Boy Scouts and some of the things that you have coming up.
Okay.
I mean, you just finished a lot of your summer campouts, right?
We did. We had a big camping season. We expected about 80 kids. We had 170 show up.
Wow.
For
Doubled.
our week
Over
of
double,
summer
huh?
camp. Yes, that was a nice, pleasant surprise. We had groups go to Philmont and hike for a week in the mountains. We had groups go to the canoe base in Canada. We had groups go to the Florida Sea Base. It was a wild summer. Plus, we had kids from right here go to the World Jamboree that was in West Virginia. Had 50,000 kids from around the world.
That's amazing.
There, and they all had a great time.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, what a great experience. And you know, the great thing about scouting is all about mentoring. It's about leadership.
Yes.
It's about building character, about doing the right thing, right? And
That's
being
exactly
prepared.
right. And being
Always
prepared.
being prepared.
Man, you got it down. You got it down.
It was ingrained in me, you know, in grade school. So I mean, you get them early.
Yes.
Get your kids involved with the scouting program early.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you know, my grandson went to the World Jamboree, and he met kids from Brazil, and Italy, and Sweden, and Switzerland, and Germany. Of course, they were all girls that he was interested in meeting, but he had a
Phenomenal.
great time and he made friends. They had a little contraption where you got next to your friends and pushed it, and you connected information. So he has 400 friends from around the world now
That's
with their
amazing.
contact
Wow.
information. So really exciting.
Yeah.
So we're kind of glad summer's over though, because it about wore us out.
Well, wore you out. Huh?
Right now, our big push is for to help the United Way meet their goal, because when the United Way meets their goal, then all the nonprofits basically
Right.
in Enid and Garfield County are successful.
Yeah, it really does. It prospers all, and it does lift everybody's boat when we make our goal and help
It
others.
does.
So,
It
yeah,
does. We
yeah.
like to share the wealth, share the resources, and the great thing about it is all of the agencies are friends. We get along. We have our agency directors meetings. Everybody's looking for ways to collaborate. So
That is a
Enid
good
and
thing.
Garfield County is a good place to be.
Yeah, well, thank you, Bobby. So talk a little bit about opportunities for volunteers, because I'm guessing you do have volunteers that help with the program.
We do. We have any level that you want to be involved in, from a couple of hours a week to many hours a week, we can fill. We need merit badge counselors. When boys are working, or girls too, working on merit badges, we want them to be with someone who actually knows about electronics or
Right.
aviation or atomic energy. And so if you have an expertise either through your vocation or hobby, then you can sign up to be a merit badge counselor.
I
We
did not
have
know
weekly
that.
leads. Oh,
I might do that. I've got
That would
30
be
years
good.
of media, multimedia, and
I think that
maybe
would
I
be
could
great.
maybe I could help with that. Volunteers are one thing. So what's the process of becoming a volunteer? Because you just don't let anybody walk in off the
No,
street, right?
No, we
So-
don't. You have to fill out an adult application, and we do a background check on everybody, every volunteer leader. You have to complete position-specific training, which I realize is kind of, you don't know what that is,
Right.
but there's some certain trainings you have
Is
to
that
go
an
through,
oxymoron?
as well
Is that what
as as well as youth protection training.
Yeah.
That's mandatory for everyone, and we're real proud. Right now, we have some new leaders, but we're at 97.9% of our adults have completed their training.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, we're
Good deal.
very happy.
Yeah, I would be
about
proud of that too.
So
You told me earlier that you had something special coming up this
we
year.
do.
Is that
We
right?
do. On September 28th, we have a joint camporee and parade with the Bartlesville Boy Scout Council. They're the Cherokee Area Council. The first Boy Scout troop in the country was in Pawhuska and was started 110 years ago. It was actually chartered through the Boy Scouts of England. And so we're celebrating their 110th anniversary by having this camporee. But on Saturday the 28th, we have a big parade that all scouts, anybody who wants to be in the parade can be in the parade. It's a Boy Scout, Cub Scout venturing parade, but everybody can be there. And everybody who comes will get a little discount card for all these different places in Pawhuska. So
that's
if
really
you want to
neat.
come get a discount card, come by our office at 317 North Grand and we'll give you a card. But
Yeah,
come out, it's
I-
going to be a lot of fun.
I should have asked earlier. So where is your office located? It's just right down Grand Street, right?
Right down
Heading
Grand.
north?
Yep. You can see the courthouse from our front door.
And
So
that building is what is that?
it's the Walter Sheffey Scout Service Center.
Yeah, but
And,
what was the original building? I mean,
it was the YWCA.
really? I did not
back
know that.
in the day.
It's a really neat building.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm
It
glad
is.
you guys have that.
And Mr.
So
Sheffy
is
gave it
this
to us.
is this going to be in Pawhuska then?
It is in Pawhuska.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes. We'll gather about 9:30 for the parade, and if you need to know where we're gathering, give us a call, and we'll fill you in. But the parade starts at 10, and it's going to be a good time.
Wow, so the first Boy Scouts of America started
The
in-
first Boy Scout troop.
Oh, okay, first troop.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay, so where
But it
did
was
Boy
chartered
Scouts of
through-
America get
through-
start?
Well, there was an unknown scout
Oh.
who helped an American businessman through the fog in England, and the American businessman offered him a tip, and he said, "I can't take that. I'm a Boy Scout. Tell me more about Boy Scouts." And so they brought the scouting program to the U.S., but this started before that ever happened. This troop
That's
did.
amazing. That's pretty neat. So how old is the scouting program in America?
Well, it started in 1910.
1910?
Yeah.
1910, so you're
So this was 1909 when this troop started.
10,
So it
yeah.
kind of beat the rush.
1909. Wow. That's amazing. So, Bobby, for parents,
Yes.
when we're talking to parents about the scouting program, and let's say they're really busy parents, because I know
Right.
parents are, and by the time they get home from work, what's it look like when the scouting program, when somebody gets in the scouting program? What's the involvement of the parent, and they can be as involved as they want to be or as not? I mean, how does that work?
Well, it's always more successful if parents are involved.
Sure.
And I think most parents probably want to be involved in some way, but that doesn't mean you have to be the main leader for your child's group. You can provide support by bringing refreshments or helping supply the craft or being a chaperone on trips.
Gotcha.
Typically, meetings are an hour a week, and for Cub Scouts, they have they call it a pack meeting where they get their awards once a month, and it's a great time to show support for your child because he or she wants the recognition of getting those awards.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we also have family campouts. We'll be doing
And they
that in
and they
October.
earn that award.
Oh, and they earn the award.
That's the key, I think.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not just given the awards, but we have family campouts. The entire family can come and participate in and have a good time. The important thing is Cub Scouting, and it's no longer Boy Scouting, it's Scouts BSA, are all family oriented. So
Right.
bring everyone.
And
bring
just
siblings
recently, you all have added now girls in the scouting program.
We have.
And you might want to explain that just a little bit, because some parents are like, well, I don't know if I want my girls with my boys, the boys with my girls,
Valid concern.
How does
valid
that
concern. Girls in Cub Scouting, which is kindergarten through 5th grade, girls are in separate, we call them dens, separate groups than boys. They don't meet, they're not co-ed groups.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get into Scouts BSA for the older ones, it's female troops and male troops. They're not
Gotcha.
They're not combined.
Not co-mingled.
They're not commingled.
okay.
They
Not
still do
co-ed.
the same requirements.
Not co-ed. Okay.
That's right.
Still
They do
the same requirements.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And we have some girls that are really working diligently to be in the first class of Eagle Scouts.
Right.
So
Well, that's
female
great.
Eagle
Well,
Scouts.
looking forward to the first female Eagle Scout. That's going to be great. Bobby, thanks so much.
Sure.
If somebody wants to get involved with the scouting program, who do they call? How do they get in
They
touch?
can call me. Call
Yeah?
me.
What's your number?
My number is 234-3652. My name is Bobby Schultz, but anybody can help you. Or go to beascout.org and you can get some information there
Great.
too.
Well, thank you again, Bobby.
Sure,
And, yeah,
thank
you
you.
just call him Bobby.
This is Bobby.
But I have to thank my mother for getting me into the scouting program, and for her being a den mother all those years. And I'll never forget the one. It was some kind of an event that we went, and we had swords that we had made and costumes that we had made, and we had a balloon tied to our leg. Have you ever played that
Yes,
game?
yes, as
Where
a matter of
you had to
fact.
go around and either put, you never stabbed anybody with your sword,
That's
but
right.
you popped the balloons, and the last one standing was the winner.
That's right.
But,
A lot of fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's always fun. Always fun. So thanks again for what you do.
Thank you.
Get involved with scouting. Get involved with United Way. Give us a call. You can always go online and find us on our website.
We're friends with the United Way. We
Yes.
want you to support the United Way, support the Boy Scouts, and we also want to say, before I forget, thanks to Osage County Tourism for putting together
These
our
cards.
VIP card for us.
Gotcha. All right. Great. Well, stay tuned for another episode of Community Talk. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, I'm Vicki Grants, and this is Jet, and we're with the Enid SPCA. And we are working really hard to make Enid a more humane community. Be sure and check us out on Community Talk.
Welcome back to Community Talk. I'm Bill Presley, and joining me today is Harry Hammonds, and we're both with the American Red Cross. Harry, you've been with the Red Cross for, what, 4 years now?
Almost 5, Bill. Yeah, I've been there for quite a while. So.
Okay, and you're kind of the leader of a certain amount of counties in the Garfield County area?
Yes, sir. I came in with the intentions of being a disaster responder, where we respond to hurricanes, but then I ended up respond to a lot of different things. And I do a lot of other stuff too, like pillowcase projects, just do local events, like a lot of the volunteers. We all volunteers. We do local events other than outside events, out of the state, and respond to disasters. We do just public service, and we do blood drives. We do a lot of different things, but I guess our biggest thing that we're known for is either blood drives or responding to disasters. So.
Well, the main thing we want to talk about today is sound the alarm. And speaking of the pillowcase program, it kind of ties into this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. What we do on the pillowcase project is we go into the schools and we teach the kids, mainly 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, we teach the kids about preparing a emergency kit, and we give them supply them with a pillowcase, and we supply them with some emergency equipment in there, like a flashlight or a whistle or a blanket or something like that. And we talk to the kids about how to be safe. Mainly here in Oklahoma, we talk about 2 things, basically tornadoes, which is one of our big disasters, and the other one that we talk about basically is house fires. And of course, house fires is a major concern for us nationwide.
Yeah, on our little flyer here it says more lives are lost every year to home fires than to all major disasters. So the place that we feel the safest may be the most unsafe if we don't take the right precautions and be prepared.
Sure, that could be the case. And but that's why we're here today. We want to talk to our local residents about a program that we got coming up, and it's called Sound the Alarm. And basically what the Sound the Alarm is we come into your homes and we install smoke detectors into your home free of charge, no cost to you, and we'll come in there and install them for you. So all you have to do is give us a call.
So the event itself is October 5th, 2019,
Correct.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Probably won't be that long, depending on how many people request detectors.
Right. And what we do, we have a phone number. The phone number is 580-233-5914. And you could call this number and leave your name, your phone number, and your address. And they just leave that information, and then they will forward that information on to a few of us here, our local volunteers here in Enid, and we will get in touch with you, and we'll tell you approximately when we're going to come and see you on the 5th of October. And also the good thing about this, we install as many of these alarms in your homes as you'd like. And this is basically the alarms that we use. They're a 10-year guaranteed alarms, a smoke alarm. They're guaranteed for 10 years. They're a lithium battery, and once they're done in 10 years, then that's it. You just toss them away and replace them. And if you call the Red Cross, we'll come back and we'll replace them for free.
Most of the detectors, you have to change a battery like once or twice a year.
Sure.
This one is not that way. If it starts beeping, it's time to throw it away. You can't change the battery.
Right. You can't change the batteries on these. And a lot of times, a lot of problems with local house fires anymore is people have smoke detectors, but they don't work. They don't check them. They don't test them. You need to test a battery, your smoke detector, at least once a month. and that's just by rule of thumb. And there is a button on the middle, a test button, and just push that, and if it beeps, that means your smoke detector is good, and if it doesn't beep, then it means you need to replace the battery or replace the smoke alarm. And if you just call the Red Cross, we'll just come in and we'll replace it for you. You don't even have to bother about going out to the local Walmart or somewhere to buy a new smoke detector. We'll come and do it for you.
Okay, we told the date of the event itself, it's October 5th again,
Right.
but there's a kind of a deadline to get on the list is October 1st.
Right.
Couldn't remember if we mentioned that or not.
No, yeah, October the 1st. We'd like to have all calls come in by October the 1st so we can get kind of get organized in what areas that we're going to have, basically we'll be covering. And sometimes what we do on these too, if we don't get enough response, we do what we call a neighborhood blitz. And so we'll just take a neighborhood and we'll go in there and take volunteers, and three volunteers will go down one street, and then 3 more will go down another street, and they'll just go knock on doors and then see if anybody needs smoke detectors that way. Also, we do apartment complexes too, so it's not just the homes, but also we do apartment complexes.
So who is eligible? That sounds like it's just open to anybody. And it's
No.
not just Garfield County, is it?
No, it's not just Garfield County. We go out to all the communities, and it's not basically targeted at the rich or the poor. Anybody can qualify to be have an alarm installed into their home. I don't care if you have major bucks or no bucks. We'll install it into your home.
And along with this, we actually need some volunteers.
Yes,
To
sir.
help us with the installation. So kind of the same phone number and the
Yes,
same
if
criteria?
you want to volunteer and help, you call the same phone number, 580-233-5914. And we have some volunteers already signed up that's going to help us out. For example, we have OG&E is going to be there. The local fire department's going to be there helping us out. And I know there's 2 or 3 other organizations that's going to help us. But if anybody wants to help us with this program, feel free and just call the same number and tell them that you would like to volunteer to help install these alarms on October the 5th. And I might mention too, on October the 5th, we're going to meet down at the nonprofit building downtown, 114 South Independence Street. That's where we'll meet in the morning, and then we'll get all of our equipment, and then we'll give you your assignments, your addresses and stuff that. And normally what we do there, we have a team of 3. We usually send out a team of 3 to each local home.
So could people just show up that morning to help, or should they pre-register as volunteers?
No, they can show up. Anybody that wants to show up, they can come. The only problem maybe is with that, it would be nice if they could call us. One thing that we do too also is we provide lunch usually. And so in order to get a good count on lunch, we'd probably need those that are going to participate in installing the alarms. It's helpful, but no, if you feel like that's one of your things that you want to do, just come on in, and we'll find a lunch for you. I'll give up my lunch if it needs to be.
Oh, you're not giving up your lunch, Harry.
Usually we have a few extra, and then usually not everybody will eat lunch, So
Yeah.
usually we'll have plenty. We'll have plenty for everybody. Just show up, and it's a good event. It's a good event. It helps save lives, and that's what
absolutely.
we're all here all about.
Absolutely, that's what
That's
it is.
one of our biggest things in the Red Cross is, we're here to save lives.
And should people bring like a drill or step ladders or?
Well, if you have your own drill and ladder, you could bring it, but we have a truck that comes in, and we have quite a few drills and quite a few ladders on there. But if you have your special drill you like to use and you're used to it, that's fine. If you got a ladder you want to use, that's fine, because right now we don't really know how many people we're going to have or how many installs we're going to have. So it'd be nice to have the extra just in case that we needed them.
And in case anybody misses this opportunity and they decide later that they need a smoke alarm or maybe several smoke alarms, who could they call?
Well,
for that? I know they could call Enid Fire Department, but we do that with the Red Cross as well, don't we?
Yeah, we can do that. Probably what we'll do is probably keep the same phone number for the time being until we get another phone number. And yes, they can call, and we don't have to install them that day, even if they're not home that day. And they said, well, we prefer you to come back another day. We could do that too. You know, we don't have to install them on that day.
Okay.
I know the last event we had last year, I think we had 10 or 12 that either wasn't home or wasn't ready for us when we got there. And so we went back at a later date. Basically what we do is call them up, and we'll call them up, and then we'll set a time and a date to go back to their home and install it.
I think we have maybe 4 or 5 minutes left. I wanted to mention that just installing that smoke detector hasn't completed the job. Because the smoke alarm will sound the alarm, but the family needs to know what to do at that point.
Oh, you know, like an escape route or what to do
Yeah,
in case
so
of a fire?
the family needs to have a plan, and everybody
Right.
realize that plan, and at least 2 ways out
Sure,
from any place in your home, and practice it.
right.
You know, you can't just write down and have everybody assist with the plan, draw out the little boxes. This is your room.
Right.
This is how you get out, and then, like I say, practice it.
Well, yeah, they need to have 2 escape routes in a house fire, and they know what to do in case of a fire. If there's a lot of smoke and stuff, basically what they tell you to do is just drop, get down, and crawl out to one of your one of your exits. And also, good thing to have too is once you get out of the house, is have you and your family a particular place to meet. You know, like say across the street at the local grocery store.
Right.
Or somewhere. You need a place to meet, so make sure that all your family's got out safe and sound.
And never go back in.
Never go back in. Never. That's one rule of thumb. Even if you have your favorite pets in there, never go back into a house fire, because chances are you may not make it out.
Yeah, and you only have maybe 2 minutes or even less
Right.
to get out of a house fire.
Sure.
So it's critical that you get out. So everybody needs to know what to do and practice it.
Yes. Yep. What they say is have a plan and work the plan. You know, that's what they tell us in the Red Cross and anything. That's a good thing to have. You know, it's a good habit. And like you said, communication, work your plan, and make sure that all your family's on board with it.
Well, again, it is October the 5th from 9 to 1 p.m. and you need to get registered by October 1st by calling the 580-233-5914, and that's for people that would like a smoke alarm, or probably several smoke alarms, because one usually doesn't do it.
What we do is we go in and we evaluate, we assess the home and see how many we think that needs to be there. A rule of thumb anymore nowadays is 1 for each bedroom, maybe 1 in the hall. You never put 1 in the kitchen, you know. That's kind of insane, I think, because that's kind of asking
Yeah, it's
for
going to
trouble.
sound
You know,
dull.
because Mama's in there cooking and it gets
Yeah.
too hot, and then it sets the alarm off. And then, so usually, 1 to each bedroom, and then maybe 1 more elsewhere, like a big den or something like that. That's a good place. You never want to put them in the kitchen or in the garage or something like
Right.
that. You just want to.
And make sure everybody understands the sound. That make sure you push that button so everybody knows that that's the fire alarm.
Yeah, and it kind of makes a piercing noise when you hear it, but at least you know it's working and operating. If it doesn't make a noise, then you know it's not working at all.
Right.
So.
Well, I think we're just about out of time, so thank you for joining us on Community Talk.
Hi, I'm Rich Shepard. I'm the president of the Enid Civitan Club. Here locally, we give well over $10,000 a year to a lot of community events. If you'd like to be a member, please contact us. Go to civitan.org and be watching on Community Talk.
Welcome back back to Community Talk. I'm Kayla Waldrop. I'm here with Bob Archer. He is the founder and director of Old Paws Rescue Ranch, located just about 10 minutes from Enid, near Breckenridge. Old Paws is a nonprofit that was started just a couple of years ago, so it's still kind of in its infancy. Bob, can you tell us a little bit more about the Old Paws mission?
Yes, I discovered working at shelters that a lot of old dogs end up in shelters simply because the owners pass away or a myriad of things, but they end up in shelters and they are highly likely to be euthanized because a lot of people don't want to adopt them simply because they're may not be perfect anymore. Just like us, when we get older, we're not perfect anymore, neither are they. So basically our mission is to take abandoned and abused old dogs and give them the life they deserve for the rest of their life as best we can.
That is wonderful. How do you go about getting these senior dogs that are in your care?
Well, like some of them do come from shelters. We do work with Enid Animal Control. We also work with Blackwell Animal Control, Seminole Humane, and Pug Hollow. And we exchange dogs between us. The other way is simply people, their owners passed away, and their children may be trying to find a place for them to go. They can't keep them themselves. You know, they've tried to find family or friends. I always urge them to try to find somebody who already knows the dog to take it. But unfortunately, that a lot of times just doesn't happen. And then other times, it's just because their owner has gone into a nursing home and can't take the dog.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that sometimes dogs are maybe abandoned or dropped off at shelters because of their condition, maybe extra medical care, expenses?
Most definitely, yes.
How did you come about getting Bentley? I have Bentley here in my lap.
This is Bentley over here. And by the way, he doesn't need water, he's just excited. So that's why his big old tongue's hanging out, folks. But Bentley actually found himself in the shelter twice. His owners actually passed away, or I like to refer to them as humans. I don't believe we own these guys. So his humans passed away 2 different times. I happened to be working at the shelter where he was at the first time, and the second time I happened to be visiting the shelter because I was fostering them, and Bentley saw me, and basically Bentley went nuts. I didn't remember Bentley because Bentley was red when I knew him, but as you can see, Bentley has aged and is now a nice wheat color. So he really chose me, I guess would be the best way to put it. And once I remembered him and went back, I didn't want him to end up in shelter again. He didn't deserve a third time to be going into the shelter. So that's why he's with us, and he's doing well.
I understand Bentley has done quite a bit of service in Enid for different hospice or nursing homes.
He
Can you tell me a
has.
little bit about that?
Yes, he has. When he was a little bit younger, we've had him for, I guess, maybe 2 to 3 years now. He actually went to nursing homes and visited various patients. He was able to walk the nursing home aisles at that point. Not so much anymore, so he goes and visits individual patients when the hospice sends us to see a patient. He also has a doggy stroller now that he can ride around in, so he doesn't have to walk and get overly tired.
That's pretty amazing. These dogs can give so much. About how many dogs do you have in your care right now?
We have 32, and of that 32, 26 are what we would call seniors, over the age of 8. Our oldest one is 19. We do have a small group of what we call youngins, and the youngins are there just like your grandkids. They help keep the older ones engaged, keep them from laying around doing nothing all the time. The youngins entertain them. They like to watch them play, and every now and then they get down and play with them too.
Are any of the dogs at Old Paws Rescue Ranch available for adoption?
Very few. I think 4, possibly. And again, the reason for that we kind of touched on earlier. Most of the dogs we get are in fairly poor shape when we get them. It takes some amount of time to get them back up to where I would consider them to be, semi-healthy. But the problem is, it's difficult to take a 15-year-old dog that is going to cost somebody $150 a month in medication and adopt that out to somebody. A lot of the ones that are available for adoption are special needs, such as blind or deaf. And it takes a special person to be able to want to care for that dog. It's a commitment for probably a short period of time.
Sure.
And that's hard on folks.
And it's hard on the dogs too sometimes, I
It is
understand.
indeed.
That must take quite a bit of funding to take care of that many senior animals who have that special vet care or maybe that special dietary need. How is Old Paws Rescue Ranch funded?
Well, we're funded 100% by donations. We have no staff that is paid. Everyone is volunteers, so everything that we receive goes directly into running the rescue. The housing, the food, the medications. By far our number one expense is veterinary expenses.
Sure.
Medications, a lot of heart conditions that we have, it has a very expensive medication that they have to be given. There are other ways that we also can get funds. Obviously, donations is a big deal. Amazon Smile, you can go through Amazon Smile and put us in there as your charity. We can get it that way. Even helping with food. We do have a donation box at Pet Sense in Enid where you can donate food. And that helps us a great deal too, because anything we don't have to spend on food, we can spend on medication and vet care.
Absolutely. I imagine that vet bill is pretty high with that many seniors. It looks like we have Teddy over here with you. Can you tell us a little bit about Teddy's story?
Well, Teddy, first of all, is our number one therapy dog. She's an ace at doing it. She loves everybody. She's the most intelligent dog I've ever owned, bar none. She takes hand commands and understands how to, when she's dealing with a patient. But Miss Teddy, she was abandoned in an apartment. When somebody moved away, they left her without food or water. She was in there for 6 days before somebody found her. Apparently the only way she survived was she figured out how to knock the lid off the toilet tank and was drinking the water out of the toilet tank. And that's the way she managed to survive. And the amazing part is that she has never met a stranger. She loves everybody. Even though that was done to her, she
Holds no grudges.
Yeah, she holds no grudges. That's exactly right. She loves everyone.
That's amazing. She can give back so much and visit the nursing homes and the hospice patients. If somebody would like to help your organization, what's the best way for them to contact you?
The best way is Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, and if you send us a message, we're pretty good about getting back to those fairly quickly. Any kind of question you might have, doesn't matter what it is, from how do I donate, what do you need the most, I'd like to buy you some supplies, I have a question about a dog, anything that you want to ask, I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have.
Sure, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for visiting us with us today. It's amazing that these dogs have so much to give, yet most of them are seniors and their health is failing. So it's amazing what you do for the community, and it's amazing what these dogs do for the community. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Hi, I'm Tricia Mitchell, Executive Director with the For Our Kids Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to children and adults with disabilities. Please look for us on Community Talk.
Hi, I'm Tree Perkins. Welcome to Community Talk. I'm from Youth and Family Services Development Director, and I have brought with me a special guest today, Kasia Spade. And Kasia is one of our school-based clinicians, and she is based at Coolidge Elementary. So welcome.
Thank you.
You know, every month I try to bring a guest from a different program that we offer at Youth and Family Services. And our school-based counseling is an area that I have not yet introduced our viewers to. So thanks for being my guinea pig and coming and doing this with me. So I have a little bit of bias here because I worked with you during the last school year. I took a time out from Youth and Family and worked as a school counselor for Enid Public Schools. And so we got to work as a team, so I know how all this goes, and I really adored my time with you and felt like we made a big difference with kids. But you know, a lot of our viewers don't know the difference between a school counselor who's an employee of Enid Public Schools versus a clinician, which we're trying to move towards that direction with our wording so that it's not as confusing. But a clinician who is school-based from Youth and Family Services. So you're not an employee of Enid Public Schools, you're an employee of Youth and Family Services. But can you tell me, for our viewers, what the difference is between those two positions?
So, as a clinician, I work more in depth with kids on more things like what's going on in their home, or if they've experienced a trauma, and just whatever they've come into counseling for, we work more in depth, and I help give them like the tools necessary to help work through those things, versus a school counselor does more IEPs and maybe does more groups.
Right, works more with special education and character development and
Yes.
those kind of things. I know when I got to serve in that position, I didn't get to do as much counseling because there are so many other duties that are required by that position. So you're lucky in your position, you get to really concentrate solely on counseling and meeting their needs and kind of finding out where they are. So I think that's really a blessing to have an addition like you in our schools. And I need to say that we have Youth and Family Service clinicians in every school. So in all 11 of our elementary schools, in our 3 middle schools, and we have several in our high schools that work in conjunction with the school counselor.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about some of the reasons that you might see a child in school.
So there's lots of reasons. They might be coming if there's a divorce to work through that, or a separation. They might come if there's been a trauma to help them work through the trauma. They might be coming if they have ADHD and need help, like learning to focus and controlling their impulses in the classroom. They might be coming if they've got lots of anxiety, especially if it's anxiety at school and struggling to work through those anxieties and be able to learn at school. So there's a lot of different reasons that kids may come and see us.
Sure. Maybe some traumatic events. Maybe they're facing loss. Just all kinds of, just a variety. Like you said, it can be something as simple as just learning how to behave in school and
Yes.
controlling your emotions, to dealing with some really intense things that have happened to that child that, you know, maybe go way back. So tell me a little bit about how you work with the school as a team.
Right, and that's one of my favorite things about working in the school, is that we do work as a team. We meet weekly. I meet with the principals and a lot of the special ed teachers and the school counselor, and we'll go over some of the kids that are really struggling and discuss how to maybe help meet their needs. I also work very closely with the teachers, and they can keep me informed with what they're struggling with in class, but then I can also help them, give them some tools like, hey, this is really working with so-and-so, and like maybe if rewards work better or praise works better, I would tell the teacher those things. And it's just very well-rounded, and we keep each other informed, and it really helps meet all those needs of the kid.
Yeah, the student really does get sort of wraparound care by having their clinician in the school along with the rest of the school staff, because everybody's working together to meet those needs. Do you work with parents as well?
I do work with parents. It is very important for parents to be involved in the counseling, and the more they're involved, the higher the success rates are for the kids.
Of course.
So when parents communicate with me, I do try my hardest to communicate back and forth, and we try to help meet the kids' needs. We discuss some progress or some other things that have come up that they need to work on. It's
Okay.
very helpful.
I thought we'd talk about some of the benefits of having your child receive their counseling in school.
Yes. So them being in the school is very helpful because we don't have to worry about parents bringing the kids and no showing. If a kid is sick that day, I try to switch them out with another kid so that they're still seen every week if possible. And
So transportation doesn't have to
Yes.
be an issue. 'Cause I know a lot of our parents maybe are sharing a car or there is no transportation and everything's within walking distance, but it might be kind of tough to get from your neighborhood down to Youth and Family Services or another counseling agency. So that is a plus, that transportation is just taken right out of the picture. Now, what about a traumatic event that might happen in that child's life, maybe overnight or on the weekends? That's usually communicated to you in some way.
Sometimes the parents will call me and let me know, or a lot of the time, even if they forget to call me, they'll be calling the school, and then the school is really good about communicating with me what's going on, and a teacher might even say, hey, can you see so-and-so? They've had a really rough weekend, or this happened, and I'll do my best to try to squeeze them in that day.
Yeah, I know that happens quite a bit. There's a loss of a family member, and we all know that that might really affect their behavior and their ability to focus or pay attention that day. You know, sometimes I remember that we might get a call that there had been a parent or a sibling maybe that had been incarcerated, and that's pretty traumatic and taxing on a child to have to worry about those kind of adult issues while they're just trying to be at school and be a kid. That's tough. How does a family visit with you in order to get their child counseling? What do they have to do?
Right, so there's a couple ways. They can call Youth and Family, and our secretary will make sure that the student gets to the right school, the right counselor, or they can contact their school, the principal or the teacher, and they will make sure that we are informed that someone's wanting some counseling.
Okay. Do you have a waiting list?
I currently do not have a waiting list. By the end of the school year, sometimes I'll end up with a waiting list. If I've gotten a lot of kids that year.
Okay. And I'm sure every school is going to be a little bit different. Some may already have a waiting list and some may not, or some may be getting close. So all they have to do is call the school or call Youth and Family Services to inquire about that. Okay. Tell me about the cost of this program.
Right, so we bill insurance, and then whatever is not covered by the insurance, we have a grant fund that covers, so there's no cost to the parents.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear you say. There's no cost involved. Because once we are able to bill insurance or Medicare, anything left, absorbed by our grant. So, I mean, there's so many great benefits to getting counseling for your child while they're in school. I appreciate you being here.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Well, that is it for us today. Thank you for tuning in, and we invite you to come back next time.
If your nonprofit group would like to be on Community Talk, give us a call at 540-8918.